Hello, I just want to talk for a minute about putting and finding a routine to improve your putting. So for me, putting was not a skill that came very easily, and I played for several years before I feel like I had any kind of a grasp of putting beyond just drop-ins. It was always a bit of a gamble for me. It wasn't a motion that felt very natural until I spent some time working on it. So the steps that I took to become a better putter, one, do what you're doing right now. Watch some videos and learn from people that are good at putting. I feel like at this point I've become proficient at it. I can definitely hang with guys in my division, and I'm still improving, and I still do the things that I'll talk about here in a minute to help me become an even better putter. But again, watch some videos, watch some. Learn which form is closest to your own. I don't believe that you should try anything terribly drastic. You don't have to switch from a spin putt to a giant lob putt or vice versa. Find the throw that fits what feels natural to you. But yeah, just hone it down to where it becomes efficient and where you learn how to do that. But yeah, watch some videos, get some resources there. And then the second thing is very simple, but for me, it's what was the most impactful to my progress in putting. It was to devote as many times as I could fit for about 10 to 15 minutes practicing a putting range that was comfortable to me, that I could make at a high level. So I'll say that again because that sounded a bit confusing. So it's to frequently practice putts for about 10 to 15 minutes at a comfortable range. So for me, starting off, that was probably in about the 10 to 12 foot range. So what I would do is put some headphones in, get in, just go, realize that I'm only going to be out for about 10, 15 minutes, not a huge commitment of time, but just to go out and just make a lot of putts. And ideally, I was doing that 2, maybe 3 times a day, just at different points when I had a little bit of downtime around home. And what I found is after a few days, those 10 to 12 foot putts became a little bit too easy. So I was able to move back closer to the 15 foot mark. And probably for many of you watching, if you're going to be able to make 15 foot putts, that's really going to have a good impact on your round. And the reason that I chose about 10 to 15 minutes is that's about how long I could maintain focus and my mind wouldn't wander. But it's enough time that I could get at least a couple dozen putts in. So I would take a stack of a few discs and go out and commit to doing that. And again, I'll also stress, whatever that range is for you, that is a very makeable range where you're going to make 90+% of your putts, that's where you need to continue to work. You will eventually be able to move out, and some days you're going to be feeling really good, and you'll be out even past that range where you initially started or where you're normally comfortable. You'll have a day when you're on and things are going in, and then you can stretch it out a bit. So that's the second part, and that's the type of practice that I feel is important to do frequently. And you'll have those opportunities even before a competitive round to go out for a few minutes and get your putting really warmed up so that you're confident and feeling good about those types of putts. And then the third piece of advice is to then mix in some games. So for me, it would be I would go out normally with maybe 2 or 3 putters, and I would just, once I probably did about 5 to 10 minutes of what the exercise I was describing, I would get in the habit of placing a disc a little bit shorter than what was comfortable, right at about where I was comfortable, and then a few feet beyond it. And what that taught me was to go and set up for each putt, which I recommend even during your other practice putting, to set up for each putt, make one that's a short, very makeable range, make that one that you feel like you definitely should still have, and then go for a putt that's just a little bit beyond. So to me, that cemented in that motion that I have a consistent putting motion, and I can trust it at different distances. And then you can even go beyond that and spread them out a little farther so that your long putt is maybe even a jump putt or a putt outside the circle. And that's how I eventually even picked up that skill of jump putting, which at first felt kind of strange. But when I was instead focused on my comfort range and just working out from that, it felt quite a bit more natural, and I found that shot that fit my throw very well. And just to throw it out there too, I found that for me, I throw a bit of a lob putt. And you'll see some players that put a ton of spin and snap. Mine has a little bit more up and down motion to get to the basket, but I found that's what works for me. I don't necessarily recommend one approach or another to another player, but those are some skills that have worked for me, and hopefully that's helpful to you in your putting. So if you have any other tips or tricks or something that you'd like to share about putting, I'd love for you to share it in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks.